Welcome everybody to our main meeting for the Baltimore Association of Black Journalists. Today we're going to do Let's Go Live at Home. Our panels today are Brian Waters, Jose Vilson, Terry Owens, and Vance Brinkley. Brian, can you talk to the audience and tell everybody a little bit about yourself in less than a minute?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Brian H. Waters here. I am a communication specialist at Johns Hopkins Medicine. I'm also one of the co-founders and host of The Wrestling Realm. And my newest position is the currently social media manager of Christian Memorial Church, my home church. So today I'll be presenting on how we have been staying in worship during COVID-19.
Awesome. Next will be Jose.
Hi, my name is Jose Vilson, and I've been teaching middle school math for the better part of 15 years in New York City, Washington Heights. I live in Harlem currently, and I'm also the executive director of EduColor, which is an organization dedicated to race and social justice issues in education.
Also a Syracuse alumni, by the way. Just put that out there. Yeah, good. Next up will be Terry Owens.
Fantastic. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Terry Owens. I am a recovering broadcast journalist of more than 20 years. Went over to media relations about 10 years ago. Currently working as the senior communications director for Pulsar Advertising. But the jobs that I love involve Wealthy You, a company that my wife heads up. Thus the step and repeat behind me. I'm doing some of the social media stuff and digital platform with her on that business, and have recently launched a little project of my own called Conversations with TO. It's the old journalist in me looking for an outlet to talk to people, to provide people an opportunity to share their stories. And I'm going to be talking about Ecamm Live, which is an app that is hooked up with the Mac products and is just a phenomenal tool, and look forward to having a discussion around it.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have Vance Brinkley.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vance Brinkley. Currently, I am an audio editor for Sirius XM Radio Sports Newsroom. I'm also a freelance reporter who has bylines in ESPN, Undefeated, OK Player, and Revolt. Many to come. I DJ, and I've just started producing music as well. And I'm going to be teaching you about open broadcast software, or open broadcast system, also known as OBS.
All right, for those of you guys joining us today for our meeting, thank you again for joining the Baltimore Association of Black Journalists. I want to strongly advise, as these guys go through their presentations, there's two options for how you can view this: gallery and speaker view. Big advocate for using speaker view. I think that'll help you a lot. So let's jump right on in with Brian, because Brian has a lot in his mind. And the main reason I had him is because he does know a million things, but we've all been kind of looking at how on Sunday mornings, the churches are finding ways to be active, right? They're finding ways to engage their congregation. And frankly, it's great for outreach as well. So that's his new role that he's going to talk to us about, I think, over at Christian Memorial. But keep in mind that you can use these same tips that he's going to talk about easily for your various programs, podcasts, and the like. So Brian, I'm going to hush up and take it away.
As I said earlier, I recently went back to my home church, a Christian Memorial, back in December. We gained a new pastor, and he had a vision to really do things on social media. Right around February, we tried live streaming, and I used OBS, taking pretty much everything to church, and it worked. But then the coronavirus came. So what we were doing was we would go during our normal church time and set up everything. However, we had an issue that prevented us from going live because we had an internet issue. So I had to come home, upload the service, and then, just tell everybody tune in. We realized that we could record the services on a Saturday, and then I could really take my time, not have to rush. And then on Sundays, upload the services to Facebook Live. What we do is we schedule as a premiere rather than just posting it, because the premiere allows people to have that live interaction allows people to get to their computers or their phones at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And then really you see the congregation engaging with each other, but it also allows us to grow the church and share it to people who aren't there. For a lot of my church members, this is something new to them. They have been telling me, it's like, man, our service is all the way in Seattle, Washington. It's like really exciting to them. So I'm going to show you pretty much how I have a post that I have to actually schedule to premiere next Saturday. So I saved it for this presentation. That way you can kind of see how I do it step by step. So I'm going to share my screen. Pardon my computer. It may. Okay, there we go. All right. So let me. All right. So right here, I went into, I guess, on the Facebook page, I went into the Creator Studio. And then right here in the Creator Studio is, and this is a Facebook fan page. In the Creator Studio, you have all the services and stuff that we've done previously. So what I'll do is I can go live now, but instead what I want to do is I want to upload a single video, and then I'll go for the hard drive. I'm hoping this moves quickly. All right. So then, oh, great. I can't see because I got this. There we go. So I'm going to schedule next Saturday's Saturday school. I mean, we call it Saturday school. Every Saturday we give sort of a Bible study, and right here, I'll title it Saturday School. But this is right here where you want to make sure you are, you title it just like uploading a regular video. I could just do this. I can add all that in later. But right here is the crucial part, is hitting this premiere button and then making sure you set the time and date when you want to. Now, here's the thing that's also important, because I did have a technical issue. You can only premiere it at a minimum of 10 minutes from when you upload it. But that doesn't, keep in mind, that also doesn't account for the time it takes to upload. So if you have an hour-long video, it may take you about 25 minutes to upload that video, depending on the speed of your connection. So once you set the time, like it's telling me right now that it must, so I can't even do this one, I'm sorry. But it has to be within 7 days. Let's see. Okay, there we go. And then I would just hit publish, and then it will premiere at that time. Now, I'm still working through Facebook because there are some parts that's confusing where to find that video that's premiered, they do have different, I'll save it later. So right here in your Creator Studio, you'll have all your content, but there are some parts that's like you're looking for, what did I upload previously? They'll let you know what you have posted, but sometimes it's difficult to find the videos that's already scheduled. So that's something that I've still been trying to find, but I just wanted to make sure everybody know that that part can be difficult. So let's see, I can stop sharing now. Okay. But yeah, generally with Facebook live, I mean, Facebook premieres, the difference from being live on Facebook is that you taking a uploaded video and then you're scheduling it to premiere at a time in which you designate, rather than just going live where, we chose to do it this way for right now because it gives the pastor time to really put together how he wants his sermon to be, but it also gives me time to really edit the service the way I feel like it should look in conjunction with the word that he's delivering.
Okay, Brian, quick question from Shantae Felix.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between the premiere option and the schedule option?
Yeah, so scheduling is just going to post it, and it's just going to be available to watch the entire video from the jump. Premiere will act as if it is live, so you won't be able to fast forward to the end, but you can rewind if you start the service or start the video late.
Okay, and then also from Maria Morales, I think I understand, is the saying, what are the different types of pages and where is this one found? I think in relation to the church has you have a fan page, you have a group page. I think that's where we're going with that one. So was this a fan page or what?
Yeah, so this was from a fan page. Because most videos I post, if I'm going to do something like this, like something produced, it's always on a fan page. I do know, I'm not sure if you could premiere on a personal page. I know you can go live on a personal page.
Gotcha. And another one from Professor Ship. She's asking, what's the advantage over using this versus Zoom for real-time service? I think this is probably, I don't know, you can go ahead and answer. I think it's more of like, you can make it more polished. It's not real live. Everyone can't go live. Let's just be straight with ourselves now. Stop lying to ourselves. A lot of y'all are not good with the whole live situation, and pastors are no different. So we're trying to help you out here. I had to talk a client out of a live situation, and no, that's me and my soapbox. I'm gone. Brian, what's the difference?
Yeah. I know with Zoom, anything can happen. Like we talking right now, if we were live on Facebook and I knock over the camera, everybody's going to see it. So like Nikki was saying, everybody isn't good for live. I know a lot of pastors and people are doing that. So that's the difference between going from Zoom versus using the Premiere option is by us premiering it, it gives us the chance to put together a fully polished service.
Okay, and do you know about this? If you were to go live on Zoom, are you able to post a link to your Facebook post, or do you have to cross-post it? I hope I didn't kill that. It's from Kamar.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I know that you can definitely go live while you're on Zoom, but I think maybe by the time you get down to Vance and he talks about restreaming and stuff, I think this all might make a little bit more sense. Because keep in mind, guys, we got a couple other experts here. I'm glad it worked. Let me jump into our next panelist. Brian's not going anywhere. I just want to make sure that we get like the meat and potatoes out there first, and then y'all can like whip around. And I'm also monitoring the chat. So jot your questions down old school style or right there in the chat, and we'll make sure we get to them, okay? Jumping to our next person, Jose Bilson. Let's talk about Instagram and those Nelly/Teddy Riley moments. How do we not have that happen? I'm just saying.
I'm glad you mentioned that because as a classroom teacher, a lot of what I do on Instagram Live is very, I guess, authentic in a way where there's other live type sessions, whether it's a Zoom or something where it's super prepared, whereas IG Live is supposed to be something a little bit more spontaneous kind of, but only pseudo spontaneous. I'll tell you what that means in a little bit. So I know Nikki already provided how to, like the actual instructions, written instructions for how to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and post that in the chat box as you see it right now. You'll recognize that you're basically like taking your phone and then you like swipe left. And then as soon as you're ready, you're just going to go ahead and like hit live or something. So that's all you're really doing more than anything else. So let me just show y'all right quick. Oh, of course you want to act up right when I want to do this. All right, cool. So at the bottom part, you'll see right here, it just says the word live. And once you hit that, you're going to get a screen that looks kind of like this because that's how my own house looks like. And then once you hit that, you press live and you're going live. And they'll give you like a 3 count. It'll go 3, 2, 1. And the minute that happens, all of a sudden, like Instagram tells everybody who follows you that you're about to go live. And that's one of the big reasons why I actually chose Instagram over everything else. Instagram being as popular as it is, it reaches millions and millions of people at a time, and people can really just hop on as they wish. You're allowed to just get on live, and that's that. The second popular feature that I really love on Instagram is that you're also able to have conversations. So if you want to do a Q&A with somebody, you can have them hop on at the same time as well. Nikki already mentioned Teddy Riley versus Babyface. Here's the thing about when you do any sort of Instagram Live, whether it's just by yourself or with anybody else. Tip number 1, just try to tell everybody that it's going to happen. because often people get annoyed when they get a notification from you that you're going to go live, unless, of course, they already know that you already scheduled that segment for you to do that, in which case they get way less annoyed and you lose less people when you do that sort of thing. The second part is you're not trying to do too much either. So you're really just focusing in on one specific platform. A lot of what people recognize during the Teddy Riley versus Babyface joint is that, like, Teddy Riley was trying to do too much. Like, there was just too much background noise. There was a whole DJ set. There was a background dancer. There's all the other stuff. You don't need to do all that. On Instagram Live, people actually prefer that you keep it just that one person, or maybe even max 2 to 3 people that are on the screen. Because if you have anything more than that, like backgrounds and all the other stuff, then people are going to tune out. They're not going to feel like it's an authentic experience between two folks. Third, make sure that you do a test run before any Instagram Live that you do. So, for instance, if I have a class that I need to do at 12:45, I'm going to test out what the internet connection looks like at like 9:30, at 9:45 beforehand, just to make sure everything is working, just to make sure that I don't have to stress out too much about what I have planned. And then I guess I have 2 tips, really, 2 other tips on top of that. One is that you want to have an intention and purpose, because the vast majority of us aren't some sort of celebrity where we just want to like see what our favorite person is doing. We actually have to have a purpose for that Instagram Live. The purpose being, for me, obviously, is that I'm trying to teach adults and children a little bit of math. And sometimes I can go overtime, and that's okay, because I have a specific purpose for what I'm trying to do. And then the other part too is, what I love about Instagram Live is, as I'm actually looking at the screen for what's happening, I can actually see the comment stream up. So I can read what people are thinking as I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's been the advantage for me, is being able to, like, I even have some of my actual students say, hey, like, I have a question about this, I have a comment about this, and I can actually see what they're thinking as I'm doing what I'm doing. And that actually made a big difference for when I tried maybe other platforms where I couldn't necessarily see the comments while I was trying to do my thing and I was teaching at the same time. So that's a big part of it. And of course, for journalists, I would also mention too that this is just brand new. Instagram literally just came out with this product maybe like last week. Is when you have finished your Instagram Live, you have a couple of options. You can either have it saved for 24 hours in your Instagram story, or you can download it. But as of today, I want to say, even though like the last week, you can actually make it an IGTV video where people can see it forever and a day. You could just leave it on your profile. So when you have a very good interview that you want people to be able to see and they don't want to download it or anything like that, you can actually have it where it's right on your profile and people can actually see the video that you did on Instagram Live. So that was a basic version of what I would suggest for everybody. But like I said, Instagram Live for me felt the most powerful because it was in tune to a wide majority of people, whether it be real young people or folks who are more veteran and, you know, parents who are just trying to get hip to what's going on. Like, that was the audience I was trying to reach. So that's why I use Instagram Live. But then also just because how easy it was for me to set up, and I was able to just move around with my phone while I was doing whatever math it was that I was doing in the background. So I'll take questions now. I thought that was that cool?
No, you did fine. Did anyone have any questions? They were kind of following very aggressively, so there were no questions that popped up. I was taking notes. Here we go. David Steele has a question about, have you seen IGTV work? Like, this is a huge advance. So,
as a matter of fact, yeah. IGTV is so dope in the way of saying, like, you know, we went from just having little pictures on Instagram to now it being like a full multimedia experience. You no longer have to download it onto your phone. If, like, let's say you have a 30-minute interview with somebody on Instagram Live, if anything, people can go to your profile. They can see snapshots of pictures. They can see the short videos that are up for 24 hours, which we call our stories. And then IGTV ends up being an experience that can last a lot longer. So people can literally sit there for, think about like the most recent, I think it's Quibi, I think it is,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Uh,
you have any number of different ways for you to approach this whole TV multimedia experience. So IGTV is a really good thing, especially for folks who can't join on your live right then and there, but they want to see what's happening. Maybe they forgot and you don't want to like upload it onto your YouTube or whatever platform. Now with the attachment of IG Live to IGTV, you can just say, oh, put it on my IGTV. Oh, you can go check it out on my Instagram anyway, so you can see past episodes of what I was trying to do.
Yeah, they're offering a lot of feedback as far as like positive stuff. Really good from Kamara, and also ER Ship, Professor Ship was saying that this is really opening her eyes up. I want to, you know, me, social media and audience engagement. I want to throw this out to you guys to think about your audience. If you know you want to have a younger audience, you know, obviously Jose has middle school students. They're not going to jump on your Facebook Live as quickly as they're going to jump onto an IGTV, or I'm sorry, an IG Live, which, you know, in turn becomes an IGTV. If you ever go to my account, I keep a lot of my clients' work on that IGTV page. I mean, you guys have scrolled through like the different types of the things at the top of the Instagram. So that's another way to compile old material, longer material, anything past a minute. Instagram puts the kibosh on it. Interaction wise, yeah, it goes past emojis, fire emojis, and, you know, hearts and stuff. People really do get interactive with these. And now that we know that there's like, that's the popular thing to do, test it out so you can have a little bit more of a command over it. And you'd be amazed at what type of audience you do garner. Let's see, Maria Morales, I'm not hip to IGTV either. It works my nerves. So this is helpful. I know nothing about, really? Y'all been hanging around me and you don't know IGTV like that? Really, guys? Okay, we need to have a talk. Okay.
I would also suggest too, and here's something else. I'm sure some of you, because this is the audience, right? Some of you saw Badu versus Jill Scott, and I thought that was a bomb. Now, notice how they did the thing that I'm sure Teddy Riley was trying to get at, in that, like, they still had other things happening in the background. So, like, Jill Scott, it was just her and her laptop. Erykah Badu actually had like her own TV streaming service happening at the same time as like her IG. But even still, it felt very natural. It felt very much like it was just them two having a conversation. And then they were actually reading along the comments as people were talking. So I think going to Kamar's question, I think a plain wall is beautiful. Try to keep it as natural as possible. If you have something like my brother Brian has, where like, you have some sort of interactive background that's set toward the thing that you're trying to say. Like, if you're about wrestling, then you should probably have something about wrestling in the background. But if you're a journalist just trying to have a authentic conversation, then I think whatever setting you have in the background is going to emanate, right? Like, it is very much about imagery. And like that's Instagram. Instagram is like, give me the image of what you're trying to project, and let's build from there. Like, you even see with NBA players, when they have their Instagram, they're very much like, oh, I'm just at home chilling. Like, these are my socks, these are my shorts, and I'm just trying to talk. But even still, like, you know, this person plays in the NBA because they're talking with another NBA player, they're talking with the agent or somebody. So whatever you try to do, you're just trying to project something that's really dope. Make sure that your face is, and again, y'all know, y'all journalists, right? You're going to have your face close to a source of light that's really nice on you, that projects on you well. You want to make sure that your voice actually is able to project. You actually do a sound check too. I think I saw that in the comments where somebody said, oh, like, if you're going to talk, make sure people can actually hear you. And then you say, hey, can you hear me? And then in the comments, they should be able to say yes, no, maybe, and then so on and so forth. But you do a sound check, do a visual check, and all that. So,
and we're going to come back to Jose with more questions and stuff, because I want to slide into eCam with Terry Owens. Terry, I was able to do the co-host thing, so take it away. And if you find any blips, my fault. I'll fix it.
No, I'm sure it's nothing you could have done. If anything, it would be something on my end. Okay, let me ask a question just as I get started. If anybody is familiar with eCam Live, drop something in the chat, let me know, because I suspect some of you are probably far more advanced in working on this platform than I am. But I discovered eCam Live maybe, I don't know, 3-4 months ago through another group that I'm in, and it was a platform that allowed us to basically do live broadcast similar to the kind of quality that you would see in a television production. Dave Steele says first time he's hearing about it. Ecamm, E-C-A-M-M. Ecamm is a platform that was designed specifically to work with Apple products. And it is nothing short of amazing. And I'll tell you, our first experience with it was for an event that we were planning. My wife had an event planned for the National Harbor a couple months ago, or a month or so ago, and we'd done a great job of selling the event. And once COVID hit, we were like, okay, how can we pivot? And we learned about this platform and quickly put together a program along with interviews and videos and things that would work in a day-long summit. And we went on this platform. We went live from 9 in the morning till 6 in the evening with guests coming on periodically using video that we had been able to develop over time. And it's just an amazing platform. And here until today, it was struggling to work with Zoom. They'd had some technology issues, and so you had some trouble getting in and out of Zoom. Where it worked best was to broadcast live to Facebook, and there are some other restream platforms that you can use. It's on Twitch. And some others that allow you to broadcast across platforms with the system. And the real key for me was the quality of the production. You were able to connect a DSLR camera to your Mac, and so the image quality is just amazing. Ecamm Live is something that allows you to include lower thirds. It allows you to roll video into your presentation. It allows you to do live interviews. The primary platform for that until now has been Skype. You can have up to 5 people doing a Skype interview, but I just got a link this morning that said they fixed whatever the bug is with Zoom so that you can also use Zoom. So that's what we're gonna do when we get off of this, is figure out how to marry those two, because we've got a 5-day challenge starting on Monday that we want to make sure we can bring people in. And it's largely because of the quality of the production. The video just looks so much nicer when you're able to use your DSLR camera. The other beautiful thing about Zoom is that or about Ecamm, is that it records all of your broadcasts live at the same time that you're doing them, so you don't have to worry about recording things. What I've been doing for the little blog that I've started is I'll go live, take a copy of that broadcast, post it on my YouTube channel, post it on my website. So I'm repurposing that content, and it is Ecamm has a wonderful community on Facebook, Ecamm Live. If you check that out, there's a lot of wonderful information there. And they've also got a great website with lots of videos, tutorials that walk you through how to use the program. Again, I'm still fairly new to it, obviously, but learning it, but a huge fan. They've got both a free version of it and a pro version that gives you a little more capacity. But for those who enjoy a production that looks like something that you would see on TV as opposed to a webinar, Ecamm Live is one of the platforms that I highly recommend.
Everybody wondering, like, why Ecamm, why not another app? There's tons of apps, third-party apps out there. And I just wanted to show you that there's Ecamm. There's also one called Stream Team, I think it's called, with a little duck. They offer that polished look that you're going for a live event. So in that case, it's kind of like, I want to have a lower third pop up. Similar to what you've been seeing with the Girl Trek shows. If you've been watching any of their Friday night programming with, last night was with the Divine Nine sororities. And the very first one had Nikki Giovanni and Angela Davis, I believe, yes. They had a very great polished look. And there are several that will give it to you, but before you spend some money on it, do the free trial. That's all I can offer, is please do the free trial before you put money down on one of these, because they keep improving them. and you never know if you got the right one or the best one. Let's jump into Vance and talk about OBS and Restream. What's OBS? What is Restream, and why would we use it?
Hello, everybody. So I'm going to be teaching you about OBS Studio, or Open Broadcaster software. Pretty much, it is one of the biggest streaming platforms that is used on computers, and this would allow you to kind of be able to stream not only with the studio quality that you would want, using only a webcam or camera, but it also allows you to restream from multiple platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, things of that matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to at least share screen. So give me 1 second. Boop. And there we go.
Yep.
All right. Does everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is OBS Studio. It is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Make sure that your Windows and Mac is up to date. That way, you know, your computer doesn't slow down in the process of running OBS Studio. This is completely free. So you can definitely download this with no additional cost. However, there is a program on the phones that you would have to pay about $15 for. Now, it may seem a little steep, but it is a good opportunity for you to have a program that you can connect to OBS Studio, and it doesn't allow your video to kind of show everything that is legit on your phone, which hopefully, if my live stream is correct, I should be able to show you on the program, okay? But you can download this. It doesn't take a lot of space, probably like 100 megabytes or so. So it's not a lot of space compared to gigs. But once you actually install it, it doesn't take that long, and your program should show up like this. Now, let me stop the share, and I'm going to show you what the program actually looks like when you download it.
Cool. While you're pulling it up, is that $15 a flat fee or a monthly?
Flat fee. It's $15.99, and that is a flat fee. Once you buy it, that is it. It is yours. And you can also connect it to multiple phones.
And would you ever use a non-Mac? Say that you didn't have one.
If you had a non-Mac one, I did, and I had to look for it for a second to write it down. For the Android, it would be IP webcam.
Okay.
Connect that directly to OBS, and it should allow. To be quite honest, you can actually connect OBS to a phone, and it should work. It should show up as long as you include that phone as a source. But if you want to make sure that, you know, OBS doesn't pick up everything, especially if you're in the middle of the stream, because what you'll see is that when you're using a camera, the phone's normal camera, you'll see like the brightness, the record button, you'll see all of that in the stream. And if you don't stretch it out so that it doesn't show up in your stream, it can get a little bit lost. So currently what you have here is you have different scenes, you have different sources, you have the screen transitions. And I know this seems a little bit confusing, but bear with me. Yeah. That always is what shows up. So you have your sources, you have your scenes, you have your audio mixer, and you have your screen transition. And then you have the different controls. Now, if I were you, please do this, because I messed this up the first time I recorded my set. Go to settings. Okay. And then once this loads, because I got a 2012 Mac, once this loads up, make sure you go to output, and you see recording format. It originally, let's say you're trying to like record your stream, right? You got a stream going, you press start, you feel like you got it going, you got the recording going, and then you finish, right? When I was a DJing about 2 weeks ago and I recorded my entire stream, I ended up finding out that my stream was in what they call MKV. Now, MKV is a form of film compared to an MP4 or JPEG. It's a sort of file that can be used for more complex machines. However, if you just want to use MP4 so you can put it up on Instagram or any platform after you go live, make sure you turn it to MP4 or MOV. MP4 is for normal MacBooks and Windows programs, and then MOV is strictly for MacBooks if you want to upload it through QuickTime. Better quality, but it's a lot more space. Also in the settings, one of the most important things that you're going to use in OBS is the stream key and the RMTP. Now, confusing. Do I need to slow down a little bit? Do I got to bring it back a little bit? What we have any questions so far?
Luckily, we're recording this, so they can always go back. So continue.
Okay, so there's two things that you need to know when it comes to using OBS or any type of streaming program. You need to know the RTMP. You need to know the stream key. So the RTMP is pretty much the service platform that you are actually using. So you can get an RTMP for strictly Facebook. You can get an RTMP for strictly YouTube. You can get an RTMP for strictly Instagram, Twitter / Periscope, things of that matter, okay? But you have to have that in order for you to stream live. You have also another number of websites that are beginning their streaming platforms. So if you wanted to monetize it, let's say you might want to put something out on Mixcloud, but Mixcloud is have an open beta version of streaming. You have to put the RTMP and the stream key. So the RTMP is pretty much a code that allows the OBS to actually pick up what platform that you're using. And then the stream key, these dots over here, this is the specific code for your profile. Now, you see how it's hidden right here. You have to make sure that this is actually hidden. Otherwise, somebody can take your stream key and they can actually hack your stuff and go live with it. And they can take your entire stream. And if you're making money off of your streams, that also means that they can take your money too. So just two important things that I really wanted to make sure. I know that could be confusing, but remember, make sure you go to output and change recording format to either MOV or MP4, depending on if you have a Windows or Mac, and then go to stream, and then make sure you enter your stream key. And then also, if you have to do it, like enter RTMP, then you have to, but for the most part, OBS allows you to look at your service. Now, let's get to the basics. So what I currently have here is I have 5 scenes, right? These different scenes allow me to transition when I'm in the middle of a live stream. So first, this whole confusing process that you see right here, this is the display control, or the display capture. If I wanted to capture something on my screen outside of this, then I could live stream it and then capture anything. So let's say,
hey, Vance, I gotta stop real quick. Do me a favor. Is there a way that you can not have these screens on top of each other like this?
Yes.
Like maybe side by side or something? Because I think we're possibly losing the highlight that you're doing.
okay.
And it's making it hard for people to focus on, it's making it hard for me to focus on what are the different screens doing.
Okay. So that was mainly just like a display capture. Sometimes when you open OBS up, it shows up like that, and it can be a little bit of jarring. But yeah, that's kind of like a default for some reason. I don't know why. But if you wanted to, display capture your live streams, whether you're kind of teaching somebody how to do something on a computer, or you have like a certain DJ mix, for my case, you have a DJ mix that you want to record and actually show what you're doing, then display capture is the move. So what I have here is the second scene, and you mainly see my logo here. So you can add logos, you can add lower thirds, you can add different images directly to your stream. Make sure you do these things before, that way when you go live, you'll be able to have an entire setup. Also, what I want to show you, stop share. We're going to go back to the web page a bit. Is I'm going to show you a process that you can actually download different images. If you go to Stream DPS, this will allow you to add different widgets to your stream. Usually that will help you get different notifications when it comes to whether you get a new subscriber, when you get a, there we go. Whether you get a new subscriber, whether you get people donating, what will happen is it will automatically show up to whatever platform that you have. Okay, so that is another opportunity for you to actually be able to make money off of it. And what I have here is one of the countdowns that you can embed directly into OBS. So what you would do here, you see how it's browser. You would go to one of the websites. You would pretty much go into specifically what button or what image you want to add. You copy and paste it, and then you add source, you go to browser. It actually asks you specifically what you want to use, and then it includes all of this information here. Now, the main thing you just need to use is the URL. That will allow you to enter your image, and then once you press OK, it will show up. So that's another tool that you can use for OBS, using different images. That's how you see a lot of these guys or gamers who are on YouTube and Twitch and other platforms. They have all of these things show up, these lower thirds, these names showing up. It's all of a part of a system that allows you to embed them directly on the OBS. So not only is OBS good for using actual streaming platforms, multiple streaming platforms, and also doing it with studio quality, but you can add more images and widgets in order to make your experience more interactive. Okay, so these two spots are actually where my camera is. So let me see. All right, so currently I have my camera connected, and that's going to be in scene 4. So if I wanted to add a camera here, down, go. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding another video capture device. I'm going to add one of my phones. Pretty much it's just asking me to update it. But now you see one of my cameras here. I got my other camera right here. But you see one of my cameras now. So when you have these devices in different scenes, what this will allow you to do is use those different cameras for angles. So you got one here that I could put right here. Switch it up.
And these different devices, they can be they can be cell phones, tablets, like you can use almost anything with a camera on it, right?
You can use DSLRs, you can use cameras, you can use anything. Just as long as it's able to connect to your device and it doesn't mess up the latency that happens when you're in the middle of streaming.
Okay.
Yes, you can use any device. If I were you, mainly due to the fact that OBS picks up anything from your phone, the OBS product would be good, but just make sure you update your programs and also update your phones. That way, when you do go to OBS, it doesn't show everything while you're in stream. So like this is what happened. If you could look at my OBS now, I'm gonna go to the OBS system. Wide forward.
We're gonna have Brian jump in on this too, because he has the newsy aspect of it. So this way you have the DJ gamer / newsy aspect of how to use these entities. Brian, is your mic open?
Yeah, now it is.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, Vance, great presentation. Let me so I have some of the stuff already built in. Let me share that.
Vance, we're gonna jump from your screen.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you'll see right there. On the right side is like he was showing about the camera devices. I used my camera, and on the side right here, I have all my scenes set up. So right here, this is named duplicate lower third, where I just put the lower third built in already. Now you won't see it on this screen. The left side is the preview. And then the right side, the way I have it set up, I have it in studio mode. So the right side is actually what the audience will see. And then once I run that fade, okay, it's not doing it. Oh, that's why. All right, so there we go. Now you'll see the lower thirds come up. But then if I want to like put my intro built in already, I can do that. You'll see the intro. I have a picture. This is from my broadcast last week. I had a picture for this wrestler. So like Vance was saying, in your scenes, you can set up your photos. I just had it already set up, sort of, like I said, like kind of in a broadcast format, because this program allows you to do, if you're a gamer, a lot of gamers use it, like Vance obviously use it for DJing, and me doing my show in a broadcast news style format. That's the reason why it's set up this way. I also use it for church as well, when we're live, when the pastor's preaching, I'll do a lower third. And you can also create a ticker in here. Now it's kind of intensive to do this, but there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube. I was with Ashley Baker earlier this week, and we went over how to create the tickers and stuff as well. And
so all of this is being done, pardon my ignorance, all of this is being done in the OBS app, right?
Yeah, yep.
In the $15.99 app.
Yes. Whoa.
Yes or no? I want to be specific here, because I mean that's a lot going on there for $15.99. I feel like I'm missing something.
So
$15.99 app. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say I didn't pay anything. Everything I did was free. Now I created the elements, whether I created them in Photoshop, Adobe Spark, Canva, and Premiere, and I uploaded them into OBS. But OBS, the program itself, is free. And just like you can, you would, if I wanted to record, but I didn't want to stream, in the lower right corner, I could hit start recording and it'll record it right now. If I wanted to stream it the way Vance showed us using the stream keys, mine, I either stream to YouTube or Facebook, so I can do that as well.
I wanted to show you guys, like, just stay on this screen for a second. So for all of our guests that are watching this, putting on a producer hat here, this is essentially what you want to see is what's going to happen right before, like my preview, and what's happening right now. And he's showing you there's different elements down there, from his ticker graphic to his upper, I want to say left hand, whatever, we're at Wrestling Realm. Like there's a lot that's happening that if you have it already pre-produced, then you just save that as a template and you jump in front of your screen and you do your weekly show, your weekly podcast, however you want to do it. It's like it's already set it and then forget it. And it gives you a very good look. Tickers, I'm not gonna lie, I hate tickers. That's just me. I can't stand those things because people have very what's the one that we
That's
can't?
all right, I got you covered.
ADHD. They have very ADHD. Thank you. And I've worked for too many 24-hour places where they're like, put a ticker on. Tickers are distracting because people are trying to read it. And if you're trying to tell them something important, they're trying to read that thing on the bottom of your screen. So keep in mind that with every element that you add, of all the noise that you add, like I tried to add something today to kind of illustrate this. That's not too much noise. But if I started putting like all of our panelists on here and the convention stuff, like you've seen people where it looks like they're in front of a virtual NASCAR, backing. It's not a good look. But I love the fact that if you sit and spend your time and just think about what do you want to see on the screen when you're on there, or whoever you're trying to film is on there, you will be so happy with the product. And you'll become a producer yourself. And you'll realize that all those producers in your life were trying to make this the best experience possible.
Yeah, and for me, for church, I realized that this was helpful because I'm connected to Facebook Live and I'm watching people coming on, tuning in, tuning out. So then I would throw up the lower thirds. I have for the, it would take me a while to upload because with OBS, you can, let me move this out of the way. I don't know if you can see where I got scene collection, but I have, can y'all see that? Where it says scene collection? On the drop down menu?
Yeah, I see CMC.
Yeah.
So is that your
perfect
your template for CMC?
Yeah, so I can, I have different templates set in and it'll close this and open it up. Kind of like in Adobe Premiere when you open up a new project. It's the same way. So with Christian Memorial Church, I have something built in there already so that when we was in church, I would be able to run stuff. And like Vance was saying earlier, you do want to have some of the elements already built in. And like you were saying, Nikki, too, like, where you want to go. But if for some reason, before when I first started doing this, I didn't know where the pastor's, what his scripture was going to be. But then once I got it, I would be able to go online, grab the scripture, copy an image of it, and then upload it in OBS and then show it live. But it's still a lot going on. So, but this, I will say, using this program will really help you be able to produce. It's difficult. It's time consuming. If generally I go live at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday after wrestling goes off. Usually by if I'm going to use pictures, 9 o'clock, I'm sitting in this seat putting together the show and getting all the elements together.
I mean, hey, once you get that template down, you're pretty good to go. I want to open this up since we have had all 4 of you guys go. And the questions, what's going on, Vance?
2 more things, actually. All right.
We'll go for it, yeah.
For the $15 app, that is specifically for your phone or any type of portable device that you're using. That would allow your phone to be the webcam instead of you having to buy a webcam. So I wanted to clarify that a little bit.
So that means like for each device. So let's say that you had a 2-camera shoot situation, 2 phones, two entities. That's $15 for each one of those, right?
No, it's $15, and as long as your phone is compatible, like if you have the same system. I got 2 iPhones. I bought the iPhone on one app, and then I was able to automatically move it over to the next phone.
Oh, okay, so that's good because I saw like several DJs had 2 cameras and they weren't Questlove. So it was everyday Baltimore DJs like DJ Mysterious and I think Kenny K.
Yes.
So people are using these for real.
Yes.
It's not that hard, and with practice, again, that test run that we learned from Jose earlier, do test runs. You can do a lot, guys.
Yeah. Also,
just
if you want to be able to connect all of your programs or all of your platforms together, Restream.io is very important, and it will allow you to literally bring all of your social media platforms outside of Instagram. It will bring those all together, and then it would allow you to stream them all together. So 2 weeks ago, I ended up DJing, so people can see it on Twitter, people can see it on Instagram, people can see it on Facebook, all of those things. I think if you want to be able to stream from multiple platforms using OBS, and I think you kind of saw it when I was talking about the stream key and the RTMP, make sure you do Restream.io. Restream.io, and I got a little example of it that shows all of my profiles and stuff.
Awesome, and Jose dropped the link for Restream.io in there because teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
All righty, Professor Ship had her hand up. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is so much wonderful information, so I have a lot of homework to do to catch up. I've not really used Instagram in any format, really. I started putting stuff up recently and realized that I do get a lot of feedback, so I'm going to maximize that. But this is for Brian, I guess. My church has been using Zoom for church services, and everybody's been kind of excited about that connection that we can have on a Sunday. So, but I like what you're saying about pre-recording and doing all that in advance and then gathering through Facebook Live. So this is my question. How do you get that same experience of the congregation actually being together if they're just watching it on Facebook Live as opposed to what limited interaction you actually are having with Zoom?
It's the comment section. I wish I could really show, but it wouldn't be authentic if I showed it. You would see all the comments, but you see when the service is going on, it's almost like a party at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. You see, as soon as the service goes live, people are jumping in and everybody says good morning. It's funny to see people who are new to Facebook check in as if they're checking into a conference call because they always type their name and say they're here even though it says their name on it.
I got bounced out for a minute, so can you start over if you're answering my question?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I do. You guys froze on me or I froze on you, whatever. Anyway, I'm back.
So basically with the comment section is where the interaction takes place because it's premiering as opposed to being just posted. If it was just posted, everybody would be watching at their own times and maybe would be at different parts of the service. But when they're watching it as it's premiering, it's as if it's live. So they're commenting on things as they see it. So when it gets to the sermon, somebody may comment about how that part of the sermon has touched them. So it's a lot of amens, and you see a lot of people saying hi to each other. So that's where the interaction takes place. It takes place in the comment section.
With my particular church, we generally have a dialogue with whoever's given the message that day. We believe in debating in our church, I suppose. So that would take away that element. But I suppose you have to come up with some other way to do that.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick pointer, maybe if you wanted to go this way, what my pastor does on Wednesday nights, the Bible study premieres at 7:00. And on Thursday night at 6:30, we have a Zoom discussion like this. So that's how we're able to have that debate or conversation.
Can I add something to that, Nikki?
Sure. Yeah, jump on it.
So professorship, so our church is doing something similar where I think they're using OBS on Sunday mornings so that they can broadcast on Facebook and YouTube live.
Right.
Excuse me, but we're also in Zoom, and hey, it took enough just to get all of our seniors on the Zoom, right?
Right.
But the thing of what he does do now that we've started, because at first we were just doing Zoom and not on Facebook, not on YouTube, but you have to realize it's a different audience. Each platform provides a different audience, and that's the goal, is to be reaching more people with different audiences. That's why you want to use the different platforms. So what he does now is, so on Sunday morning we do prayer, we do Sunday school, and church all on Zoom, but we go live on Facebook and YouTube for the actual service. And then once the service is done, when he's done preaching, they do the songs, all that stuff, the live feed shuts down, and then he comes back onto Zoom and talks to the congregation and does all of his pastoral announcements and all of that stuff.
So that part's live.
Right.
Okay.
Pardon?
Live on Zoom.
After the live is over.
You giving ideas.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing. We're supposed to
everybody about to be doing that, Maria.
I mean, they have just started doing that this month because it was enough to get everybody on Zoom. It took us 2 months to get everybody on Zoom. So in the last, I guess, it took a month because he went live on Easter. He was insistent upon preaching in his pulpit on Easter. So it was like, okay, you guys got to figure it out because this is what I want to do. So they brought in somebody who introduced the OBX and I think set it up. So it's like one of the guys has his iPad up. Now, what I can say though is that it kind of diminished the quality on Zoom a bit because we're seeing it through the iPad. So I don't know how they're going to resolve that because I'm not the techie on that. But that is one of the ways to address your concern, pastorship, about how you can still be connected with the congregation and have that personal touch and still be, on those other platforms, because it's important. My concern was the fact that we weren't on those other platforms. And I'm like, we're missing the audience. So that's the way that they have rectified that.
And professorship, some people have just kind of surmised, I think so much what Brian was trying to talk about was that Wednesday night Bible study or stuff that's already interactive is designed well for both Facebook Live as well as Zoom meetings. Like my parents go to a smaller church. Zoom meetings work fine. People interject and talk the same way we're talking right now. They ask questions, they debate. So that's great. It comes down to the production quality you're going for. So like in the beginning when we were saying not everybody's great live, including your favorite pastors, they look really good. They look like, y'all know this has been my reaction.
Why are you trying to call out everybody, Nick?
I'm coming at everybody's pastor because I'm like, listen, some of y'all know you need that choir in the background and you need somebody to hit that organ for you to be interesting. And we are learning it right now as people try to go live. And I'm like, maybe you need to go and talk to that in your audio video ministry and get it together. Because some of these churches are knocking out the park. They might as well be a good show. Bridgeway is on point. So go ahead, Terry Owens and y'all folks. New Psalmist had a whole choir situation that I know that's a production every week. Like these churches are doing it. And I had full disclosure, I was making a list of like, here are services that you can watch and then attempt to keep my parents in the house. So I was watching everybody's service and I'm like, some of these, they have really been going at it. Yeah, everybody's service. I'm sorry, y'all didn't make the list. But you're doing better though. I love you, Brian.
And Nikki, it goes back to something Jose said earlier. And that is just talking about the importance of little things like making sure that there's adequate lighting, that you've got a microphone, that your backdrop is appropriate so that people can be engaged in. And that's why I'm such a huge fan of this eCam platform, because it allows you to use that virtual camera, which is so much better than your computer camera or the little clip-on, the little, not that the little, well, they call those cameras little go live camera things they're not bad, but if you've got a DSLR and you can set that up, hook it up to your laptop, the quality of the image is just so much sharper, and it just makes for a better production.
Oh, by the way, we had a couple questions, and I'm going to come to you, Naisha, as well. Benet asked twice in the comments about glasses, and I'm always asking people with glasses, have they found any tricks? Because eventually, if I get tired of trying to figure you out, I just tell you to take the darn things off.
Mm-hmm.
But has anyone found a trick to getting the glares off of your glasses, in particular, you ring light users, because it looks really creepy?
It's the no glare lenses, and then as you're working your lighting, it's just something you've got to be conscious of. You try and angle the light in such a way that it's doing a proper job of lighting you, but not giving the sort of glare reflection that you don't want to see. I can go without glasses, so that was what I did for most of my career. I just didn't wear them when I was on air, but some people, it's, you have to have them. It's a security blanket, and you just got to play with the lighting.
Yeah, and we're all journalists here. I know not everyone's a television person, but you're starting to see a lot of the sausage making that goes into that pretty or a handsome face you saw on TV. Is that, speaking from the one-man band side of this, you spend a lot of time figuring out your angles and figuring out, well, how do I move inside of the little area that I allow myself? Now imagine doing that with people who have absolutely no care in the world about all that. They just want to jump in front of the camera and look good. So think about that as you do your projects. A lot of time to practice. You can make it perfect.
Yeah, the beauty of this, though, Nikki, is that technology has leveled the playing field. Everybody who has some skill, has the willingness to learn, can now put a product out that goes international. I'm in my basement broadcasting live, and I got to give Roland Martin a shout out, because he was the person who identified this early on and said, I don't need a network to have an audience. And he's doing it every day, and has moved to the next level now, where he's actually got he's asking people to donate to support the product. And it's, it's a game changer. You don't need the networks anymore to have a voice.
And if anything, you start working to keep that audience, because our celebrities are showing us that they're going to give us content. Everyone and their mom's on an IG Live, whether they're interesting or not. And it comes down to, you like this person, then you go into your IG Live, and then they see the numbers peak up and go down. So that's kind of like, if anything, use that as a barometer of how am I doing? Because operating in a silo, and I know some of you probably saw my post earlier this week about some of you guys really need to stop doing these lives, and it's because they're boring. There's no formatting going on. Like, we're giving you all the tech tools today, and speaking of tech tools, there are several recommendations for DSLR cameras and other equipment in the chat if you're looking for, I guess, a purchase. But yeah, a lot of my critique this week was just like, I've witnessed too many times where somebody had they were a cool person, but they were boring to watch. That happens a lot. All right, other questions? I had a hand raised by Naisha. You still there? Nisha McCoy? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, what's your
I'm
question?
here. Somebody put me on mute real fast. Okay, for the eCam, or other than for the OBS Studios, I have a Android Live. Android. Does it work well with Android?
IP webcam.
Huh?
IP webcam is an app that you can use for your Android, and then you can connect it to OBS.
Okay.
All righty. Any other hands raised at all?
Also, I wanted to respond to what to the glasses thing.
Yeah.
The brightness settings on your laptop or computer and dark mode. If some of you guys have it, I know for the iOS people or the Mac OS people, you have it. But if you have it on Windows, please use that, because dark mode will kind of take away. It's not going to take away all of it, but it will lessen it so that it won't be to the point of being annoying. Just one thing that I see a lot is that I see a lot of people with these blaring white glasses, and you can see like literally the programs off of it, when all you need to do is just switch over to dark mode. If you go into settings for specific apps, switch it over, it will help you out so much.
All right, any other hands up? Yes, no? I was admiring, the music director, the music video director, I think it's Hype Williams videos. Was he the one that was doing like the Missy videos where they were always going into the fish islands?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what's been kind of getting me with the ring lights. I love the evenness that people are getting from the ring lights, and it's almost like a fail proof. Like you really cannot mess it up. And they're getting cheaper too. The however is, again, you have a camera in front of you. I keep mirrors. I'm not AK, but I have mirrors like all over the place. Like look at yourself. And if you're seeing that reflection, that's exactly what the viewer is seeing too. Sometimes it's not so bad, but sadly for people with glasses, and I don't know why, but I've seen like sometimes duplicate reflections at times. So you want to be aware of like, what do I look like when I'm on camera? Record yourself for a while, talking to the camera, and just see what the person who is looking at you is going to see. Because there's no way of cleaning that up once you do it. There ain't but so much posts we can do here. People, any other questions before we go into the normal NABJ stuff? Yes, no? Okay, cool. By the way, there were a couple of tips about glasses in the chat. David Steele did offer up, he's a big fan of natural light. The 3 o'clock, the light and everything is also awesome. What else we have here? That's about it, yeah. All right, you guys have been amazing. I think we stay within the parameters of our time. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. So give them a round of applause. Yay! Y'all rock. We had our Black Male Media Project without, June. Yay. Speaking of Black Male Media Project, Trey Moan, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, hi, yes, sure. I would love to. Cool. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I even continue, I echo what Nikki said. Thank you to our panel for making the time and giving us these tips. We greatly appreciate it. My name is Trey Lucas. I am the student liaison for the Baltimore Association of Black Journalists. Professionally, I am a digital producer at WBAL TV 11 here in Baltimore. And I'm on the planning committee for our Black Male Media Project. This is our 4th annual one that NABJ started. And this year we wanted to focus on, our title is basically Black Men Navigating the Crisis. This project, like many of the projects that come before this one, we talk about Black men, we